welcome back to our Samford Bulldog Spotlight. Curt Bloom along with Taylor Reece, and she's easy to call the P player, and that's Mike Morris because he calls you the P.
He does.
And it took me a little bit to figure what that is, but that P is for post.
Stands for post.
All right, your whole life you've been a tall girl, and
Yes.
is it something that is intimidating when you're a young girl and you're 12, 13, 14? Did you go through the awkward stage?
I never really had a super big growth spurt or anything. I was just kind of always taller. And then my family, everyone in my family is really tall. So no, I never really felt weird about it at all. I mean, my dad's 6'8", my mom's 6'1", and my sister's 6'1". So anytime I was at home, it was no big deal.
Well, you're kind of lucky then you didn't go through that. In high school especially, people can make fun of you and you're always a target. Mom and Dad, they have obviously been a huge influence because they played, and I get to see them practically in my 3 years. I think I've seen them at every game. Tell me how neat that is and how nice that is to have college basketball players as parents, and more importantly, they're so supportive of what you do. What is that like?
It's great. I mean, that was a big part of, because Samford's, it's 2.5 hours from my house. It's not far. It's close enough they can get to all my games, which was a big reason I wanted to come to Samford and be somewhere sort of at least a little bit close. But my dad especially, he's just a wealth of basketball knowledge. So if I ever have questions, like, I can always go to him. But they're also, neither one of them are ever pushy about it. They, it's my thing. Like, they're letting me have my kind of time with it. But yeah, it's really fun. It's kind of cool that it runs in the family.
That's interesting. So it wasn't, hey, Taylor, here you go. Here's another ball for your birthday or for your Sweet 16. No, they just let you do what you wanted to do. You have a unique perspective because you have a sister, like you said, she's tall. She's also a college athlete, and she's also here in Auburn. And from what I see, you guys are like peanut butter and jelly. You're like two peas in one pod. How close are you with Macy?
She's my absolute best friend in the world. We're really similar. So we fought a little bit growing up, but now, I mean, we're so close. She's my go-to person with anything.
Does she wear Samford basketball and you wear Auburn volleyball shirts every once in a while?
Yes, it does happen, yes.
Okay. And what is her life like? Is it similar? I mean, there's so much to talk about, but it's very similar with travel, with, having to be academically sound as well. That must be a nice feeling to have somebody to share that with.
It definitely is. I think it helped her a little bit too because she saw me do it first, and she definitely knew what she was getting herself into. I think it's kind of hard sometimes. You go to college and you're like, it's just basketball, but it's a lot of stuff, a lot of time that you don't necessarily know until you get there. But
So
she got to see me.
to lean on. All right, we're talking with Taylor Reece, our post player here with Samford Bulldogs. When you look at the media guide next year, you will be listed in the top 10 in scoring and block shots. You'll be around rebounds. You'll be around a lot of different categories. You've had a pretty darn good career when you look back on it. When do you start to appreciate that career?
I appreciate it now. I think I've just learned so much from Coach Morris and from basketball and being an athlete in general. So I'm so grateful for the experience, and especially that I got to do it at Samford, where I love the school so much. So.
Tell me about the year that you had to sit out. That was difficult, but I think your spirits were as good as they possibly could. You hurt your knee, you tore your ACL, you were out and missed an entire year. Please tell us what that's like.
It was really hard, especially because I had been at Samford all summer, worked really hard. I was hoping to have a really good year, but I just trust so fully in God's plan for that, and I learned a lot through it, and I really truly came to appreciate basketball more than I had in a long time. I think sometimes it's hard when you're having to work so hard all the time, you kind of lose your passion for it, and then God was so gracious and I was able to re-find it through that, so it ended up working out for the best.
Good message. All right, now you, along with Christy from last year, are going to be two of the tallest nurses in the history of nursing.
Yes, you're right.
And it was funny because I had a blood test done a little while ago, and there was the nurse who gave me my blood test. She was taller than both of you guys.
Wow,
I couldn't believe it.
That's amazing.
Why did you choose that field? I'm again very intrigued by that, and I know how disciplined you have to be I mean, that takes up a lot of your time. Why that field? Why nursing?
Originally, I actually wanted to go to med school. I've always loved anatomy and science, biology, all that kind of stuff. But I had a really cool teacher in high school, Mr. Hollis, and he kind of talked to me about nursing and kind of exposed me to that field in that you're with the patients a lot more, because I love talking to people and being around people, so it's kind of the best of both worlds in that regard.
What do we not know? What do we not know about you that we should know? We found out Krista plays guitar. I know a couple of your teammates play the piano. What do you do?
I draw. I like to sketch, yeah. So my sketchbook is close at hand a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, next bus ride, I do need to see what's
I'll
in
show
there.
you some stuff.
Fascinated.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I can't wait to see that. Graduation is coming up, and it was a special moment for me. It's impossible not to think about it for you. What's that moment going to be like?
I actually have another year, so I've got a little bit of a ways, but I think it'll be even better this time around because I'll be done with grad school and I'll never have to go to school ever again, and it'll be so great.
And the afterlife is going into what, nursing and then being a doctor one day? Is that,
I am in nurse practitioner school. So at this point, I'll graduate next May, and then I have to decide if I want to get my PhD or not. Ooh. So my doctorate. So we'll see.
Dr. Reece, I've got to ask you, I can only ask my girls, can't ask my guys. I didn't have the courage to ask Krista. On the court, how often do our girls and you wear makeup?
I wear it always.
They told me you do. That's what I told.
Really?
Yeah.
I always do. Well, I used to, like in high school, I just felt like I needed to, I guess, and now it's just a habit. So before every game,
How many of the other girls? Most of them?
I would say most. A lot of pictures are being taken, so you have to,
at least around the eyes. I see the eye stuff all the time. Look, you can't ask Scott Padgett's team about wearing makeup.
No,
so
that would be strange.
I just wanted to make sure. Taylor Reece has been our guest here on our Bulldog Spotlight. Your Twitter handle and your Instagram account?
My Twitter handle and Instagram are the same. It's Tay_Reece, all lowercase.
All right, and I get to call her Dimples every once in a while. You can see that one right in there. But she's been a pleasure to be around my 3 years here. You can catch this interview, all of our interviews. Make sure you go to samfordsports.com.